So let's play Mr. from Colombia. So 3-minute challenges is also fine.
No, I don't like this.
But let's play 5 minutes for now.
Okay, boy.
Okay, see you. Laurent's the man. He is. He won all his games and I came in and immediately ruined the streak. But maybe we will get to build up another streak. Let's play the Maroxy Bind. Very solid opening. Let's try to keep it solid in the next few games. Not play as terrible as we just did, or as I just did. And win some games and win them really fast. Okay, so far all theory. So this is kind of a solid line by black. It doesn't have that much play, but also no weaknesses. And it's hard to break through. So I just heard Laurent leave the building, so it's only me. And hopefully some good chess as well, and the viewers. That's a bit odd. Moving the bishop twice. Yeah, I think Laurent did a good job. Didn't know he was a bit strong as well in online blitz, but he's a classy player, so he can play some good games upon occasion. Okay, let's put our knight here. Are you guys playing against each other at any point, says Yuk Janes? Well, I played Laurent once in an official tournament, and so I was completely winning after the opening, but back then I still respected him a bit too much and took an easier route than I should have, and it became a draw. So he escaped, unfortunately. But I still have plans on beating Laurent once in a real game. So my opponent here goes for f5, which is a typical plan. I think I'll take. Probably I'm not really playing this correctly, by the way, so I've been moving my rook all over the place and now it's being attacked again, so I have to move it again. But my position is still solid and I must be slightly better. e6. Let's go back. So now my grand idea is to play g4. Trap his bishop, because I usually play for cheap tricks. So let's see what he does about it. If he goes e5, I get a nice square on d5. Ah, he meant if we play against each other on the Banterthon. No, Banterthon is only for playing against the viewers. So we do not play against each other there. Also, we like a bit of a real challenge, so playing Laurent would be too easy. So he goes e5, he sees my trick. But now I got the square on d5 for my knight, which is a really nice square. Let's move my rook one more time. Mr. Furtz or Fairs says asks if I study chess with my brothers. Well, sometimes. So I have one brother who's mainly playing chess. The others don't play chess that often. But usually I work alone. And I also have a sister. She's also playing a bit of chess, and she's really young. And she's quite talented, but usually we work separately. So my opponent plays e4. So I could take a pawn by taking on c5 maybe, but then he would gain the bishop pair, so I'm not so certain if that's a good idea. I'll play f4. that is a troll name. So let's see what he does. Mr. Julian Perea Irazo. Wow, that's a good move, I think. But so his pawn is, if I take twice, this pawn will be hanging in the end. Let's see what I can do. Alright, let's not think too much, that's not my strength anyway. Ah, apparently that was not his plan. In that case, I'll retreat my bishop. So my opponent is playing a decent game here, but he should play a bit faster. Trying to exchange this dark squared bishop here. See what he does about it. Alright, let's take. So let's give a check here. I could take the pawn, but then in the end my pawn will be hanging on c4 as well. So I prefer to take, maybe not. Okay, let's take this, maybe not, because he has to check and that's kind of annoying. So maybe be solid and play b3. Someone in chat asks if it's okay to challenge me if he played against Laurent. Well, usually I try to play new opponents, but since I don't know who Laurent played, so I cannot know which opponents are new and which aren't. So you can definitely try, and maybe I'll accept anyhow. Alright, so now I'm clearly better because I got this outside pass pawn, which is coming down the board, and my rook is infiltrating the black camp. So it looked like Laurent left just as I played a decent game. And of course I blundered the pawn on f4, but I see plan A, as Jan calls it, is being very effective in as in winning on time. Maybe push the pawn one square further. Make some Luft for the king. That's probably the only German word you'll hear me mention all day. And like that, we're back to 3100, which is not a great thing, because we already were there when I left, when I came, sorry. Alright, let's see if there are any 3-minute challenges. Ah, here I see one. Because I need to get some energy, and 5 minutes are a bit slow, so 3-minute will make my head think a bit more and maybe give me some more energy, wake me up more. Yes, Laurent did join the show. I must say it wasn't a very impressive appearance by Laurent Trent, but maybe he'll be back and do better than he did the first time he joined the show. I mean, he played a game at least. He didn't join the show. Well, I had German in school, but actually my German is quite bad, so I prefer to stick to English. I finished my exams in German, but after that basically didn't really speak it anymore. And whenever I'm in Germany, I speak English to the people, which is also not the best way of learning the language. Yeah, I like Drake as a singer. Probably I know the song Energy, but I would know the song, but I don't know which one it is right now. But if I would hear it, I would probably know it. So now I have the nice plan of trapping my opponent's queen, which actually is not so easy for him to prevent. So knight c2 is a threat here, and his queen has no escape squares. Probably has to make like an awkward move like knight e1 to try and... he can take on c5, which I missed. So maybe I have to prepare my plan a bit better. Which I don't really seem to be able to do. In that case, I will just make a useful move. Protecting my pawn here, maybe playing b6. Playing fast. Still up on the clock, which is good. Let's not allow knight g5. Yes, I do understand German, but speaking is somehow a bit harder than understanding. So when I listen to German, I would say I understand about 90%. But when speaking it, I'm not that good. So now I'm just having... Now he saw my trick. Or my small idea of taking the pawn. In that case, let's just make moves and hope for a mistake. Move a bit back and forth with the knight. Take his bishop, which he doesn't really seem to care about. I will happily accept his offer of the free bishop. Okay, he has this, but I don't think it's a particularly good move, because his queen is totally out of play and I'm checkmating him. So fewer checks, and now the bishop joins the game. Maybe my opponent missed this move, but anyway, his position was already dangerous, and now it's a nice checkmate. Okay, I think that was a good game. Unfortunately, now that our rating is so high, we don't win that much rating anymore, so it becomes slower. I see a very strong challenge here in 5 minutes chess by Kalmandur, but I think I already played him, so I think I'll pass along the list of challenges. Let's play this person. Oops. Let's play Floch. I don't know how to pronounce that. Please correct me if I'm wrong with Floch. Too hard to pronounce. So I got back to my normal opening of 1e4. Basically, whenever you see me play a different opening than 1e4, it means that I have no clue. So when I have no clue, main plan will not be to win on the position. Now I will try to play kind of a funny line. So this is a kind of line which is really not that good for white, but sometimes it works in blitz. So it's temporarily a piece sacrifice, but there is this nasty threat of bishop c7. So, but it's all theory, and if my opponent were to find the right move here, we could see a position of three pieces against the white queen. The right mover is bishop b4 check to a5. Oops. But it seems I already took my opponent out of book, so maybe he will do something else. Even though I don't think there are any other moves in this position. Ah, so he did find the correct move in the end. And now is where I will deviate from the common mainstream theory. So, because I want to win games fast, I'll play this tricky move knight d6, which really is not that good, but sometimes people get confused and you get an easy win, which is all I want. The normal move is to play knight c7 check, after which black plays queen takes c7, bishop takes c7, and he takes by bishop, and you get a position of 3 pieces against the queen. But now that my opponent took on d6, we get the same kind of position, but it's a better version for white. The main move was king f8 after knight d6 check. Yeah, maybe you looked it up. That's a common trick. So when you're playing Blitz online and you don't know the theory, you can just look it up and pretend like you know. Okay, bishop e2 was a terrible move by me. Maybe here. So this is an interesting position, but since I already misplayed it, I'm definitely not better anymore. That's a good move. Let's go here. Attack the pawn, and if he defends it, I go here, preventing him from playing d6 and developing his bishop. This is possible, but I attack the other bishop. So it's an interesting material situation here. I would probably myself prefer to play with the black pieces here. It's kind of easy to play for a human with 3 pieces. While with the queen you have to take care of all kinds of threats, especially in Blitz it's kind of difficult, but maybe I'll find a way to around all the threats. Maybe attack or protect my pawn. I'm not sure. Let's stick to the plan of trying to win games fast and not play good moves. Push these pawns. Okay. That's one of the advantages of playing b4. I can protect my pawn f2 in this way. And now I can attack his knight. And he has to retreat. Wow! Mr. Flodge is in for an adventure. But I'm not sure if it's a correct adventure. So I don't think I'm gonna get mated soon, so I'll push my pawns and see how far they can get. And I think they will get pretty far. Of course, my opponent's main problem besides the material deficit is his bishop on h5, which is totally out of play. Okay, now I'm gonna play a funny move. Rook a1. And it only works because his bishop is totally out of the game. So he can take my queen. And then I would take back and go rook a8. Now I will offer him my queen once again. And make him sacrifice his rook for my pawn, and then queen my remaining passed pawn. So it seems now that Laurent left, the pressure has come off and I'm starting to play some good chess. Although it's still early to call. So let's see if the good chess will continue by playing some more games. Unfortunately, not too many 3-minute challenges. Okay, let's play this player. Now I'm gonna play 1b3. Move commonly used in blitz chess. At least if my opponent makes a move. If he doesn't, we'll go to the next game. The opponent from the last game says he had to give up the queen somehow. Just couldn't remember how. What you did was fine. So don't. So the opening was fine. It just went a bit wrong later on. My move knight d6 there was not very good, but it sometimes works in blitz. Someone is asking if I follow the Cairns Cup. Well, yeah, I know what's going on. I would have followed today, but besides the fact that I didn't really care, I also had to get some sleep because I have to wake up early for the Banterthon. And it looks like no one wants to play against me, which is sad. Okay, let's play a strong person. But this opponent is he's online. Let's play the open Sicilian. So for anyone who wants to learn something about this opening, it's great advice, and especially if you want to play it from the white side, to study the many losses in this in any kind of Sicilian by my compatriot Loek van Wely. I think he has lost more games in this opening than anyone else. So if you want to play it from the white side, and then definitely study his games and see how to crush the opening. So we're playing some kind of theoretical opening here, some kind of line. I'm not really sure how it goes, to be honest. Alright, good night Ollie. I'll enjoy the company of chat, but I do take the rating very seriously. It's the main reason why I'm here. Because I know when Luki shows up, all our rating will be gone, so I have to make sure it is so high he cannot lose all of it. Yeah, this is kind of a typical position in the Najdorf. So, Black has his play on the king side here, with f5, f4, maybe e4 in the future, while White has to try something on the queen side. Now the problem is that I don't really play this line with white, so I don't really know exactly how to play it. But I know that this kind of strange looking move knight a1 is sometimes a common theme. The point is to transfer the knight to a3, but I'm not sure if that's the right plan in this line. Yeah, I think Jan will do well on the Banterthon. The main problem is Mr. Loek. Also, I'm sharing a hotel room with him, and I probably woke him up, so he's not getting a lot of sleep either, which also doesn't help. So my opponent here is playing definitely quite aggressive chess. Yeah, I think I misplayed it. A little bit at least. Let's see. Let's think a little. Probably this move is very bad, but I didn't really see how to prevent his threat of f4. Because usually you're not supposed to play moves on the king side with white in this line. You're supposed to play something on the queen side, but that's not really what I'm doing here, so probably I'm doing something wrong. But maybe I'll get away with it somehow. Someone's pointing out that he thinks Loek lost a lot of games in Vacanze 2010 in the Sicilian. That might very well be true. I wasn't really playing chess in 2010 myself just yet. I was 11 years old, so I don't really remember. But I'm sure I lost many games there. So my position really is terrible already. Someone asked what is my favorite game I played myself in Vacanze. I was quite happy with my game against Duda. So I won 3 games in the tournament, as I just already mentioned, but I think against Duda was quite a good game. And it came just after I had lost the game, so it also feels good to immediately bounce back, and I think it was a really good game, so I'm happy with that one. I also won a game against Nepomniachtchi, but I think, or I know for sure he already gave me a huge advantage out of the opening, so that was kind of unnecessary by him. So this was my plan. Gave up a bishop, but at least I'm attacking his pawn here. But I see him down on the clock, so I have to play some good moves. Because winning on time, probably I will not manage this game. Okay, my opponent is thinking, that's good. He can think for as long as he wants. Someone is asking, what's the most physical I ever got with my opponent over the board? Well, usually I shake my opponent's hand before and after the game, but more physical than that it doesn't really get usually, so yeah. But who knows, maybe something will happen once. So it's a complicated position here. I can take a pawn, but then he would put his rook on e2, and that's not really good for me. We have to protect this the second rank here. Protect the second rank and still keep the idea of taking the pawn on d6, which is my plan on the next move, to take there. Someone saying I had a great opening preparation in Vaikanzee. Well, I'm not sure if that's true. I had one game which had a great preparation against Mr. Vidit from India, but so I was black, and I basically managed to get a draw straight out of the opening, but somehow I managed to screw up that game. I think the main reason for that was that even though it was an objectively drawn position, we got into an end game, and I totally suck at end games, so he still had so I messed it up and lost the game. Let's see what I'm gonna do here. Maybe this one. Obviously my position is very bad here, but it's not over yet. Maybe put the queen there. It's a good thing Laurent is gone, because this game is really not good. That's a good move by my opponent. Okay, let's try to swindle him. No, that was a great attempt at a swindle. Okay, yeah, yes, queen g5, which I missed. Maybe go here. Maybe push. I have to talk a little less now, it's getting exciting. And we're running out of time, but I have a bit more time, which is good. Okay, let's just make a move. Give some checks. Go to e1. Alright. And we managed to win that one. Of course only on the clock, but that's the main plan. Yeah, I'm sure my opponent had many wins there. Rook takes c2, I'm not sure at which point, but it looked terrible for me. I didn't really know how to play that position and got totally outplayed, but somehow got away with it. So another 3-minute game here. Keeping trying to keep the fast wins coming. So anyone who wants to play the Nimzo, which is this opening, definitely check out Jan's video series on the Nimzo Indian defense. Some commercial there, great series, watched it myself as well. Although I forgot everything which was in the series. Looks like my opponent... Okay, maybe it's all good what he's doing, I don't know. Maybe go here. So I have this Isolani pawn on d5. So it's a slightly better structure, so I have to play active chess. Maybe try to get rid of the Isolani, like a typical plan is usually to play for d4. And that's an interesting question by Mr. Carlson Superlight. Oh no, I'm sorry, by Shululu. Many complicated names in the chat. Who is asking if I ever made a series, which one I would focus on. I think it will probably be an opening series. Not really sure which one. Maybe the G6 Spanish, which is an opening I played basically all my life. It's it's kind of a rare opening, but I like it, and I don't think there's that many information on the opening, so maybe on that one. It's also played by Mamedyarov a bit, for example, but other than that, not many people play the opening. Maybe not knight h5. Maybe rook c8. It's a complicated position here, not really sure what's going on. But it's a 3-minute game, so I have to play fast. Perpetual Stalemate is saying it would be much easier if everyone used their real name like he does. I totally agree. Everyone change your Chess24 name to your real name, so I don't have any problems pronouncing your complicated internet names. Wow, my opponent is really taking huge risks here, allowing me knight e5, for example. Knight takes b4. Okay, let's see. Takes. Knight e5, rook takes d4. Is he really getting away with that? Wow. When in doubt, make a pawn move. Seal Bleu saying that not many players tried the critical line of the 3g6 Spanish against Mamedyarov. I'm curious to know what Mr. Seal Bleu thinks is the critical line against the g6 Spanish. Would be great information for me as well. Okay. Let's go here. It's kind of a weird game here. I think I was much better, but somehow I didn't really play in the best way. I think I'm still okay, even though I lost a pawn. I have many active pieces now, and somehow suddenly from me being the person with the Isolani, he has the Isolani, but the main point of my play here is all my active pieces. So I'm not taking his rook, obviously, just yet. Although this move I missed, but it's all okay. Okay, this I don't believe. This cannot be working out. Okay, let's just give some checks. Should be very good for me. Alright. Thank you for the game, Nuyum. Another complicated name. That was actually interesting. I think somehow around here it was really... I wasn't sure what was going on. There was a nice line. I think if we were to take here, I can take, and if he takes here, I have this nice checkmate. Or nice. Yeah, not really sure what was going on there. Interesting game. Well, the 1 minute challenge. I will pass on for that at the moment, but maybe later. Let's get back to some 5-minute challenges. first asking why my username is Joppy. Well, that's how my father used to call me, Joppy, so I once created my chess.com account. It's back in 2010, and I decided to call myself Joppy, the nickname my father calls me at. Yeah, this is similar to the G6 Spanish, but it's a slightly worse version by my opponent. Looks like he's close to lost already. I'm seeing some really funny comment here by Perpetual Stalemate. So Jan told him that it's important to constantly post threats to his opponent in order to win. But as soon as he took the advice and started telling my opponents to be careful, because I know where the kids go to school, they banned me for 3 days. So he's asking for other advice on how to win games. Wow, you got away, I think, quite well there with just being banned for 3 days. They should have treated you harder with that strategy you tried there. Other than threatening people where their kids go to school, I think a good way of winning is trying to win on time. Other than that, I'm not really sure. Yeah, he would have been in more trouble if they put the FBI on him. Banned for 3 days is not that bad. Yeah, unfortunately for my opponent, yeah, he's busted here. So there's this nice line, queen b4 check, which looks like it might we might get to see what I wanted to describe. So then I'll quit talking about it and hope that my opponent falls for it and don't jinx my nice idea. So I'm really hoping my opponent takes my free piece here at e4. That's, by the way, another way to win games. Pretend like you blundered a piece, but then have a nice trick in the end. Oh, he saw it, but unfortunately for him, it doesn't do something about this move. So the one I was talking about was this, and that's checkmate for you. Another funny line, by the way, was if he were to go here, I can take, and he has many ways of capturing my rook, but they all fail. For example, king takes allows this. Basically any capture on d7 allows me to take his knight with check with a winning position. Recommended based on this game by Chess24 is the video series by Miss Strategy versus Miss Tactics. Definitely watch that one, Mr. Carlsen Super Light. Don't watch too many games of Carlsen. They're way too strategical, and I think you have to work on your tactical skills. So I think we won back the rating we had lost with the draw a few games ago, so that's good. Back on track to 3300, after which Luke will lose all the rating. So let's play the Knight of himself, show Luke how it's done. Wow, my opponent is very theoretical booked up. I played this line myself in my recent match against Vladimir Fedoseev, and it ended in 3 draws resulting from this line. Bishop d3 is a move I don't know about, but maybe my opponent studied it better than me. Who knows? Someone is saying the previous game was like a Morphy-esque mate. Yeah, well, but it was similar, but I think back in the 1800s when Morphy was playing chess, he would finish games like that, but he would have sacrificed many pieces in the process while I didn't. So far I'm not really impressed by my opponent's new way of treating this position, so maybe I'm fine. Yeah, actually putting knight on f3, it's kind of a new way of playing this position. The point is that d5 is a weak square in black's camp, and the white would like to get there with one of his knights. And via f3 he usually can get there via, for example, d2, f1, e3, and then to d5. But as you can see, my opponent has obstructed the way for his knight by putting his pieces a bit in the wrong places. And that's why I think I'm fine here. The knight on f3 is a bit misplaced right now. And my opponent very kindly offers me a pawn, which I will gladly accept. Yeah. And now let's take that supposedly very bad knight just to win another pawn. So maybe the knight wasn't so stable on that square after all. So basically, this is a bit how you should play the knight off. Don't get mated yourself as black. Win some pawns, and with that the game. I could take the bishop on h6, but I think this is slightly more accurate. After g takes h6, he would recapture with his queen on h6 and get some kind of ghost attack. Yeah, maybe if I would ever do a video series, it could also be on the knight f3 knight off, I would think. Okay, let's capture the piece right now. So now that he doesn't have queen g6 check, I think I could get away with it. Although I missed this move, which is a slight problem, because I missed his follow-up queen e6 as well. But I think it's all good still. It was important not to fall for king h7, knight g5 check with a discovered attack on my queen. And now I think I have this move. So if he takes my bishop, I take his knight, and I'm still up one piece. And if he retreats his knight to d2, I go to b7 and I protect everything. And I'm up a piece. So that's looking good. Okay. No, let's not go there. I was about to blunder rook f6, rook takes e4. Ah. Maybe that's not a blunder. Maybe I can get away with it. I think I can get away with it. So now supposedly I blundered a piece with rook takes e4. but I think, and the points if I take, my rook is hanging, but I think I can move my rook to g6 and threaten mate on g2 at the same time, while still threatening to take his rook on e4. Maybe my opponent saw that, maybe he didn't even see he could take knight on e4. Anyway, now it's up, and now I'm up a clean piece. And although I'm not winning games very fast, I am winning them. Let's not make it harder than it is and exchange queens. Oh, my opponent doesn't want to exchange queens. It's an interesting try, but then I will gladly accept the offer of a free queen. Thank you for the game, Mr. Rakesh. Yeah, this knight f3 line is interesting, but I think the way you're supposed to play it here is bishop g5 is better. And at some point knight d2, knight c4, knight e3 for example. So study that line, Mr. Rakesh. Oops, let's scroll down the list. Let's play the English. I think we have many English people in the chat. People in America are very well awake still. Probably it's about 10 p.m. depending on where you live. So let's, although English and American is not exactly the same, but people talk English there. So let's try the English. Although my opponent might not make a move. If he doesn't, I'll try the English against someone else. I'm sorry, Viral, but you got a lot of hours to try and get a game anyhow. Okay, another chance for the English. Yeah, the Brexit variation against the English. I know that one. I'll try to play it. See if the system allows me to play the Brexit variation. Seems like no one likes to play against the English, or at least not the Brexit variation. It's another game to abort. We want to play people who want to allow the Brexit variation. Okay, another white game, another chance. Ah, my opponent is there, that's good. So now the Brexit variation would be something like queen all the way out of the board. Unfortunately that's not possible, but I'll go as far as I can of leaving the board with queen a4. Not a good move, but sometimes you don't need to make good moves to win games. Alright, let's develop some pieces. Yeah, the queen on a4 is not really well placed, but maybe we will make it work. So my opponent is taking clever use of my queen on a4, threatening some things like knight d4. Usually it's a better plan to threaten your opponent's pieces than your opponent's kids. That way you don't get banned or get the FBI chasing you. Maybe that's what Jan meant in the end. So the Brexit variation didn't quite work, so I'll retreat my queen and act like nothing happened. Maybe the Brexit will never happen as well. Alright, so I moved my queen twice. My opponent moved his bishop twice. That's very kind of him. What do we do here? Maybe b3? Yeah, this is not really my kind of chess. It's the kind of slow chess aiming for strategical advantages and all kinds of subtle things. I like to play more bold chess, and that's what I will do here. I'll play knight d5. Bishop takes d5 by my opponent. I don't really like that move by him. Yeah, let's try to mate my opponent with the bishops. Let's try that. That's some kind of good challenge. So I wanted to try some blindfold chess as well, but on my own that's kind of hard. So let's make some kind of different kind of challenges. I recently saw people doing push-up chess, but that's not really something for me, although I need to hit the gym once, because yeah, I just need to do that. Anyway, let's try to mate my opponent with the bishops. So keep my bishop safe. Let's see if my opponent wants to exchange the ladies. So it looks like Chad wants me to play the Bloody Mary variation. Yeah, I'm not sure what it is, so please let me know. So, but in the meantime, let's try to win this game with my bishops. b5, by the way, is a bad move. Perpetual stalemate pointing out people in the US don't really go to the gym, so we have to refrain from talking about any kind of physical activities. So I have this one plan that I could, at some point I could give one of my bishops and then promote this pawn to a new bishop and mate my opponent with bishops in any case. Does that count too? Let's have some fun here. Maybe not. No. I'm not sure what Blood Marys are, but I'm drinking Red Bull, which is also great. Ah, that's nice. A free bishop. So I still have my bishops, which... Ah, my opponent resigned, so we don't get to mate him with the bishops. Good game, AC Dwin. Yeah, all those complicated names. Let's play someone with a pronounceable name. Maybe Mr. Swisslog. Wow, he's already awake. He doesn't seem to be from the US taking pictures at the gym. Or maybe he's not awake. Maybe he's not there. He doesn't seem to be there, Mr. Swisslog. In that case, I'll continue playing people with unpronounceable names. Maybe. Okay, now or never, that name I can pronounce. So I'm still not sure what the Bloody Mary variation is, or if that's even a variation at all. So if it is a variation, please let me know. But I have been told that a Bloody Mary is vodka and tomato juice. So sometimes I do drink vodka, and tomato juice I only drink on airplanes. But I like it, so one day I might try that combination. I think I once tried some kind of tomato juice with some Tabasco. Apparently that's also something kind of common. Yeah, that was kind of weird, but tomato juice and vodka sounds like a decent choice as well. Finally a game against Mr. SGB. Okay, that I'm able to pronounce. So it's not a 3-minute game, so let's play quick chess. Let's have some fun, shall we? G4, coming right at my opponent. I think it's anyway time for some incorrect chess, but having some fun. So if there are any opening recommendations or anything of that sort, please let me know. Okay, let's take the bishop, the pawn I mean, and give the bishop. So I think I'll try to not castle this game. Maybe I'll get away with it. I think I will. The plan is not to castle and just checkmate the opponent, which I recommend to everyone. Do not castle, push your pawn towards your opponent's king and checkmate. Ben Piner is saying that I'm playing weak people and that I might be afraid. Well, I don't think my opponent is a weak player. I think he's up material here and he's doing quite well. But no, in all seriousness, I think I still have many hours of Banter Blitz to go, so taking it easy. And to be honest, people from America don't seem to have that high ratings, so there are not that many strong challenges out there. So far I haven't castled, so that's good, but I am checkmating my opponent, and that's also good. Yeah, things are looking grim for my opponent here. Ah, someone has the great recommendation of playing Carlsen's opening from the title Arena, where I swept the place of my king and queen. Yeah, I'll give that a try. Yeah, that was a nice attacking game, I think. So let's try the Carlsen opening. So how do I do that exactly? I think it starts like this move. So I'm gonna do something very similar to the Brexit variation. But not quite. So moving my queen all over the place. I hope I don't get crushed this game, that would look really bad. So this is the Carlsen opening. Carlsen plays it all the time, so I'm sure it's a great opening, but I'm not sure if I will make it work. Let's play something like this. The good thing is that it's a 3-minute game, so I can always flag my opponent. Maybe go here. After this game, I think I'll get back to try and play some normal openings again. No, I won't do push-ups. I mean, I'm already after 4 push-ups I'll already be exhausted, so I won't even make 5 push-ups after every move or after every piece I take. And that's possible, but I will still not manage that. Okay. Maybe go here. So my king is actually quite safe. Nothing too bad. I mean, could be better, but my king is safe. I've got a nice pawn center. Okay, let's go here. How do we recapture? How do we do that? So the problem is if I take with the knight, he'll have this option of playing knight b4 to d3. But do I care? Maybe I do. Okay, I do not care. Okay, that was a very bad decision not to care. I should have cared. Yes. Yeah, this is a good move by my opponent. Now I have to retreat my knight. No, the rook on a1 will stay there the entire game. That's the entire... Although, now my opponent is very kind in helping me activate my rook on a1, so maybe it will make a move. It wasn't the plan though. Okay, let's go. Let's go here. So we move the rook on a1. I'm way down on the clock. I have to start playing fast. Wow, my opponent is playing quickly. So I lost the queen, but who cares about queens anyway? They're totally overrated. Okay, they're not, but I think I'm fine. Just have to play quickly. My opponent is so fast. Pre-move. Pre-move. Ah, yes. That move I like to see. Like I said, we do not need queens. And that's another checkmate. And another point for the Banterthon account. Okay, let's play a 5-minute game again. I would like to play slightly stronger opponents, but I do not really see them in the list. Okay, let's play Halo X. Another complicated name. Eclectic just followed me on Twitter. Thank you for that. If you haven't done that already, do that. And also follow Jan Gustafsson, Laurent, Fressinet, and Loek van Wely. Yeah, so basically the main point of the Banterthon is to gain everyone as much Twitter followers as possible. We plan to, in total, I think at least get, well, what's a realistic goal? Maybe 1,000 followers in total for everyone. Let's play like I did against Napo here. This is my game against Napo from the Tata Steel chess tournament. And here he took on f4, which is a mistake. I think Radio Jan's tweets are also much better than Jan's tweets. I'm a big fan of Radio Jan. It's pity he's probably not joining the show here. He's probably busy playing chess tournaments all over the world. Maybe doing some radio shows somewhere else. I'm not sure. I'm sure Radio Jan has a very busy schedule though. Again, knight e2 is the main line in that, instead of knight b3 in this line, but I played knight b3 against Napo, so I did it in this game as well, but maybe I'll play knight e2 one day as well. Radio Jan is a great player in chess, of course. Everyone knows. I think my... So if I would have to make top 3 of chess, great chess players, let me think. Could very well be something like Radio Jan on 1. Number 2 spot goes to Laurent Strand. And the number 3 spot maybe to Laurent Fressinet, who was just here. That sounds like a nice top 3 chess players. A5. That surprises me. I was expecting B5. Since I couldn't trap his bishop anyway, yet with B3 he had always some kind of nasty tricks. Moshi's asking who were the top 3 Dutch chess players in history. Well, so usually I'm making fun of Luke, but I think this is one opportunity to finally give him some credit and give him some respect. So I think Luke would be in the top 3. And then we have, okay, maybe Luke would actually not be in the top 3. So I think the number 1 spot would go to, probably to Max Euwe, who was world champion many years ago. The number 2 spot definitely goes to Jan Timman, who was second in the world. And the number 3 spot is a tough fight between Anish Giri and Loek van Wely, I would say. So Anish is of course a better player than Luke, but Luke has been around for so many years that you could maybe still put him on spot number 3. While Anish still is quite young. So place 3, I'm not so sure. Let's give it to Luki for once. Luki doesn't get my... I don't give him a whole lot, so let's at least give him this number 3 spot by me, for what it's worth. Meanwhile, I'm not playing this game at a great level, but that's how it is sometimes. Moshi very surprised by Luke on number 3. Yeah, it was maybe a strange decision. Rembrandt or Giri, who's a better Dutch draw artist? Yeah, I think we've heard the Anish and draw jokes so far. From what I know is that actually our world champion Carlsen made 21 draws in a row recently, so maybe it's time to set a new trend and start some jokes on that. Because Anish somehow has been making quite few draws recently. Although deep in his heart he probably still always wants to draw. So I'm almost trapping my opponent's rook here. Unfortunately he got 1 square left and that's g3. And even more unfortunate, that's quite a decent square. So I could almost trap my opponent's rook here with king f2. But then he would still have bishop h4. So let's not allow that. Ah, no, it doesn't work. Okay, okay, good move. I have to think about this for a second, but I don't have that much time. Should make a move. That was probably not a good move. I'm still fine probably. Yeah, Anish won 1 tournament in his life in 2011, and then but so far since then he hasn't really won any kind of tournaments except for the Dutch Championship. But let's not really count that as a super tournament, shall we? I wasn't playing the year he won. So my opponent is playing extremely fast here. So I have to focus a bit. I don't think my position is so bad, but the time situation is not great. And I missed b5, but it's okay. So I have to push this pawn up the board. Okay, that's a free pawn. Thank you very much. Okay, that's an annoying move. Push. Ah, no, I blundered. Okay, didn't see it. He could have taken on b3. Okay, I have to talk a little less. This is getting intense. Objectively by now I must be winning, but I have almost no time left. Alright, I think I'll take this one. I think I'll win it. Alright. Thank you for the game, Alo Xadres. That was tough. Alright, let's play a person from Norway. A strong player. I see chat is still talking about Anish and his victory in Reggio d'Emilia in 2011. But I'm playing a strong opponent here, so I have to refrain from bashing Anish for a little and try to play one good game of chess, which is hard. Okay. Let's hope my opponent misses this one. He does. Great. So I'm hoping that my opponent, who's from Norway, is totally wasted playing against me here. That will give me good chances, because in Norway it's just like in Hamburg, quite late. So let's hope that he just came home after a long night out, but maybe he is just very serious and woke up just to play me. Although I doubt that. Oops. How do I play this? Maybe piece h5. Yep. In Norway probably now it's completely dark. Probably indeed my opponent doesn't know what time it is, like perpetual stalemate is pointing out. That could very well be. Although maybe Norway has some kind of... I think Norway is quite well in technology, so maybe my opponent has a telephone or something. But it could also be that my opponent has been awake for many hours straight, judging by his play. So that will give me and the Banterthon account some nice rating points. Let's maybe take, I don't know. How do I do this? I'm not sure. Let's take, play Fs. I don't like what I'm doing here. This doesn't feel completely right. Okay, this looks extremely risky. Let's not do that. Maybe go, no. Can I take there? Alright, let's try to take. Maybe I can get away with it. Yeah, maybe I'm playing against Magnus here. My opponent is from Norway, but I would doubt that I'm playing against Carlsen. Judging by the play which is being demonstrated here, I think I would have a tougher time. Okay, let's not play that. Let's blockade this pawn. And that's a free, well, at least it's a good exchange for me. And I think I'll be able to win this game. Alright. Thank you for the game, Mr. Kaasen. Let's see, who do we play? Let's play Carlos from America, who essays the Caro-Kann defense. How will we deal with that is the question. Let's do this. And attack the bishop. Yeah, this is some kind of old line, which I think it's quite bad for black, especially after e6 giving me this check. It's looking tough for my opponent already. Okay, let's see. I think I'm winning a lot of material here, but maybe I missed something. Although, I don't think I did. Okay, let's take the rook. Yeah, Carlos has to watch some more Chess 24 series to improve his Caro-Kann repertoire. It's usually not great to be lost after the opening. And this line is quite fashionable nowadays for white. So it's definitely recommended to study the lines. Someone's asking how I feel about the two knights Caro-Kann, which I played this game, compares to the advanced variation. Yeah, I think both are good lines. I think this line is gaining in some popularity right now, while the advanced variation is losing popularity. I think people are trying other things now, but it depends which kind of advanced variation you play, but in general I still think the advanced variation is a great way of fighting for an opening advantage. But so is the two knights variation. Yeah, so my opponent moved his king already 3 times this game. That's usually not a great sign for your position. And besides that, he is down a bit of material. Now I know that a person like Jan would probably play Queen b3, very solid. But let's try to play more like Radio Jan and play, Radio Jan plays c4 here. Opening up the position, sacrificing material and crushing the opponent. and d5 was the plan. Probably not correct, but thinking against Mr. Carlos, I'll get away with it. Especially considering the fact that my position was already much better anyway. Let's pre-move, shall we? It's a bit risky, but I like my pre-moves. Not taking any time. It's a bit risky, like I said, but maybe it will work out. And that gives me even better chances of winning the game. So it worked out. Predicted my opponent's move of knight takes d5. And this was my plan. So the left nut is asking what's the record. I assume he meant the record of winning games in a row. Well, I read someone said it was 78 games. But unfortunately, after Fressinet or Laurent or Fress was putting up a great streak, I came here and immediately made a draw, so we have to start all over again. Let's give some checks. Maybe will be made. And another check. Oh yeah, that was my great idea. Sacrifice the knight to checkmate the opponent. Alright, thank you for the game, Carlos. Maybe study that 2 knights variation better. I think here the main move is to take about f3. On f3, give up the bishop pair. But you have this very solid pawn chain in the center. That's what many people do. And it's not easy for white to prove an advantage. Let's play against a penguin. Penguin duel. I noticed there's very strong bullet player Penguin GM1 on the internet. Or Andrew Tang. So I hope it's not him. Then I would get crushed. Well, he is playing very fast. So maybe it's him. Someone asks if I would retire if my brother overtakes me in rating. Yeah, generally I don't like to have such thoughts of my brother overtaking me. I consider that as impossible. At least I hope it is. But if he would, yeah, retiring is definitely a possibility. But fortunately, right now I still have a decent lead over him, so I don't have any thoughts of retiring yet. Yeah, somehow I'm playing the King's Indian here with black, but maybe that wasn't such a good choice because my opponent really seems to know what he's doing, while I really don't. But as usual, maybe we can get away with it. Okay, this is interesting. Don't I have... maybe I do not. I wanted to play h3, but now I notice he can play knight takes h3. And then after bishop takes h3, g takes h3, I cannot take his pawn on f3 because it's protected by the rook. In that case, let's try this move. Okay, so now I'm losing this pawn. That's not what I wanted. Let's sacrifice it then, with h3 anyway. So chat is saying it's Andrew Tang. Somehow I still doubt that, but maybe. Because I would expect Penguin to have a little higher rating. Can I get away with this move? Probably not. Let's try this. Missed that move, of course. Just as I got a compliment that someone likes the way I'm discussing my thought on the positions, I miss an easy shot in the position. But I know no shame and I will simply retreat my rook like nothing happened. Wow, my opponent playing very decent chess. I don't like that. I don't like it when my opponent plays good moves. That means I have to play fast moves. What should I do? What shall I do? I don't know. I don't know. I completely misplayed this position. Yeah, this game could get messy. Okay, let's try this. I don't know. Allbank is asking what I think are my chances of joining the 2700 club. Well, if I play like this, not very great. But with some more experience and some study, maybe I can make it. It would definitely be nice. So I'm obviously totally outplayed here, but I missed that move as well. Yeah, this is not my finest game. I have to flag him here. Pre-move, pre-move, pre-move. Play fast. And pray. Uh-oh. This, oh God. No, let's play knight f8 maybe. I'm absolutely getting destroyed here. Wow, Mr. Dodgy is streaming and not in the chat. That sure doesn't feel like a betrayal. I hope he's not capturing or taking all of our viewers as well. That will be sad. Okay, so I'm still a little bit alive, but not really. And this is not a good move by my opponent. How do I do this? Maybe this. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe here. He will play h5. And I will be checkmated. Queen e7 maybe then. I'm lucky I still have this move to create some confusion. But Penguin Do is doing a very clever job of keeping an advantage both on the clock and in the position. Okay, let's try this. We take. I have to play fast. So the good thing is that I have 2 knights, and with knights you might get some tricks in blitz. Knights are very tricky pieces. And my shortage of time on the clock is gradually becoming less severe. Maybe this will be here. Okay, let's go here. Let's see what he does. And now maybe here. I basically just have to play quickly from now on. Queen f7. It's not so easy for him to break through, that's my only chance. Queen e8. Don't want to draw, obviously. We never want to draw. Okay, now go here. I missed queen b7, by the way. Yeah, I think I have to give a little less commentary here, especially because I missed this idea. Yeah, now I'm totally busted. I think I'm gonna lose this game, dear viewers. Okay, that's very sad. Ouch. And that makes for a giant loss of rating. Aye, aye, aye. Yeah, good game, Penguin, though. I must have messed it up somewhere. Let's quickly get back to a slightly easier challenge. Because you are too strong. No, I don't want draws. Even if I'm lost, I don't want to draw. I'd rather lose than draw. Kariyari. Not making a move, looks like. I don't think I have much Red Bull left. Oh, he's not there. Someone else then. First, if you want to play me, please become a premium member. Then I'll play you happily. Let's see if Mr. Van Dorpsten wants to play. Looks like he does. And let's play the Caro-Kann. So this is the old main line. I used to play it myself mainly when I was a kid. Don't really play it anymore with black, but sometimes I do. Like 1 or 2 games a year. But it's a decent line for black and for white as well. My opponent is already going for it with g4. It's a common theme in the Caro-Kann, g4. sacrificing that pawn in order to get some kind of attack game going. Let's see if it's gonna work out for him here. Probably this is still some kind of theory. I don't really know. I haven't studied this line in years, and even though I'm quite young, a few years is quite a lot of years for anyone. So I took a pawn on a2, but I'm not sure if that was very good for me. I could go knight d5 now as well. Takes. Could also go bishop d6. It looks like a funny move. I don't know. Maybe think about it. Win Lost is asking what kind of over the board tournaments I'm going to play this year. I will play the Aeroflot Open in about a week's time, and then after that I'll play the European Championship, where co-commentator or co-Banterthon player Laurent Fressinet is also going, so maybe I'll play him there and happily crush him. Okay, let's take the pawn. My opponent is blitzing his moves. That's not what I like to see. Probably I'm getting crushed. But on the good side, I'm up 2 pawns at the moment. So it's not all bad. And if it's not a direct mate, these 2 pawns might prevail. So Mr. Van Dorpsten possibly calculating if there's any breakthrough here. I hope there isn't any. Wow, d5. He sure is an attacking player. Huh. I have no idea what's going on here, but I'm terrified. So I probably cannot take on d5. Maybe I can confuse him with this move. I have no idea. So complicated. Maybe I should just... That doesn't feel right at all. Okay, shall we try this move? So the point is I want to give this check here, but if he manages to prevent a check in some kind of way, I might be dead lost. And losing 2 games in a row definitely wouldn't be a great result for Banterthon. There are many interesting lines here. It's really wow. Van Dorpsten is definitely making a game out of this. So I would expect him to possibly block on e5 with some kind of piece. And then we'll see. Wow, he's going for it even more. Let's take. I don't have any other moves. Okay, maybe I had king g7 actually. Sort of too late. I hope he doesn't have a killer blow now. I'm very happy to see that move. The knight retreat doesn't strike me as particularly dangerous. And like I said, if I don't get mated here, I'm up a lot of pawns. So I'm threatening checkmate here in 1. He has to prevent it with like b3 or something. But because he retreated his knight, it's kind of passive. Ah, and he doesn't see my mate in 1, so that's checkmate. Thank you for the game, Van Dorpsen, that was interesting. Yeah, actually there were many interesting lines after d5. I don't know if bishop d6 is good. I couldn't take the pawn, I think, because then he would have given check. Would take. Maybe at king g7. That's the move I miss in every variation. I thought I had to take, and then he takes, and then I cannot recapture because it's checkmate. So I had to go for this, and now I was expecting like bishop e5, and I couldn't calculate anything. Probably I would have given a check and given queen a5 check, but who knows what's going on. Let's play Miktal. Similar to Michael Tal, world champion. So maybe let's try to play in style of Michael Tal, if Miktal wants to play a game at least. Sure does look like many people are not there. Is everyone asleep? Very possible. Alright, I have to abort this one. Next time better. Let's play volatility maybe. And let's play this b3 move. I wanted to play this in a previous game already, but somehow didn't get around to play it. Yeah, maybe I just have to scream harder, talk louder, so everyone wakes up on the other side of the stream. That could work. Wow, Mr. Volatility is also asleep. Maybe people are just trolling me, pretending they want to play a game but really don't. Let's see if chess 8924 wants to play. He does. And let's play the French defense. So, strangely enough, the French defense is a very popular line in Germany and not in France. It's a very solid line, and many players in Germany are very solid players. So they like to play the French defense. I'm not very solid, but on occasion I can play the French defense as well. So the good thing about what I like about Chess24 is that no matter how great the rating difference is, you always win 1 rating point. So as long as I keep winning some games, and I will always win at least 1 rating point and win back the rating I lost with my trouble game I just had. Yeah, now it's basically the time when probably everyone is asleep. Even on the East Coast, as I'm being informed, people are starting to get to sleep. But I'm here, awake and trying to crush as many players as I can. I'm liking my position here, so I got the pair of bishops and some more space maybe, I don't know. I just have the pair of bishops, which already makes me happy. Someone asks, what's my favorite sport? Well, to be honest, I'm not really so much kind of a sports person, but I think maybe Ajax is playing tomorrow Champions League against Real Madrid. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but if I'm not playing here and I have time, I'll try to watch that. That sounds like an interesting game to me. But maybe I'm wrong about the dates, that could be. Please tell me when are the correct dates. Then. Anyway, I like football a little bit, and I know Jan is into basketball, but I don't really follow it that much. In the Netherlands, ice skating is quite popular, so I sometimes get to see some of that in the Netherlands. So here I sacrificed the pawn, but I have very nice compensation, so I'm quite happy. Mr. Volatility is informing me that he was away from the computer, so that's why he couldn't play. In that case, I'll try to play him next. And this is a blunder by my opponent, making my life easier. So just capturing this pawn here, and life's looking better than it used to. Unfortunately, they play on Wednesday. The Champions League is on Wednesday. Can I Google it, or does that change the screen? I'm afraid to try. Let's not touch anything here. Maybe I can do it here. Okay, let's not touch anything. Yes, my opponent has to try bishop d6 here, not to lose even more material, but resigning is also a decent option. Alright, let's play Mr. Volatility again, because he wasn't there. And I want to play 1b3 against him, I think. Let's do that. Oh, my opponent does know his theory. I think normal is knight e2, but maybe I can... maybe this is a move as well. Maybe not. I don't know. Champions League is on Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm being informed. Yeah, but all the people from the US probably watching, not many people are interested in the Champions League, but I think it's interesting, so if I have time I'll try to watch a few games. Let's make some pawn moves in their center, shall we? Position of us is it's quite solid. Not many weaknesses, but also black is fine. Probably the position is around equal. He got the bishop pair, but white has slightly better control in the center here, so just an interesting position. Okay, let's play for some. Let's try to attack. See if it leads to anything. So I'm playing, or at least I'm making it look like I want to attack my opponent on g7, but in reality all I want is to capture one of his pieces with e4 and a double attack. Unfortunately, he sees both of my threats and prevents them. So now I have to come up with a different plan. Maybe go here. That looks bad. Carlson Super Light is informing me that Americans love the Champions League. Didn't know about that. I thought most people in the US are more into like Super Bowl, NBA, and that kind of thing. I know the Super Bowl was just held, but it's not really my kind of sport. So he's threatening Queen G6, so let's prevent that. Queen G6 would have been a double attack on both this pawn and this pawn since my king is pinned. Still, the position is quite equal. Nothing much going on, but maybe in a distant endgame my opponent will have here two double pawns, so I can take profit from that. We'll see. Ferd is asking if I watch Game of Thrones. Yes, I do. It's one of my favorite series, so I definitely do, and I'm waiting for season, what is it, season 9 already to come out? I saw on the internet that it was gonna be released somewhere in April, I believe, so definitely waiting for that. But yeah, it's already been a long wait. I think last season was already like 1.5 years ago or something. They take a lot of time to produce these this series. And that will be the last season, so I'm looking forward to that. Okay, now I got a sneaky little threat of taking the pawn here with my queen. But I expect him to see it. If chat has any other recommendations on series, please let me know. I'm also always interested in watching new series. Sometimes Jan recommends me some, but and I try to watch them, but I've watched through most of his recommendations so far. It's around 20th of April being released, I'm being told, the new Game of Thrones season. So that's good. That's like 2 more months. Yeah, I'm not really sure why my opponent here decided to sacrifice a pawn. Because now I'm a pawn up and I got a nice square for my knight on d6. So things are looking up. Keeping the knight on d6 seems like a good idea. Now I should just probably be trying to push the pawns on the king side and destroy my opponent in the process. Carlson Super Light recommend Jack Ryan on Amazon Prime. Yeah, unfortunately I don't have Amazon Prime, I only have Netflix. But maybe it's time to get this kind of Amazon Prime account as well. I heard there's many good stuff on there as well. Okay, volatility lost on time. Good game, volatility. Yeah, you played well until you lost the pawn here with c5, which wasn't necessary. Let's see, are there any... there's one strong challenge here. Since I lost so much rating, it's time to win some back. Against a 2700 rated opponent. Or is he not there? It would be a pity. He is. With knight c6. Wow. Makes me scared already. Not really. Someone is asking in chat which coffee shop I recommend in Amsterdam. I think any coffee shop in Amsterdam is good. And they're like basically probably on every corner, so I don't really do weed or marijuana myself, but I know many people come to the Netherlands just because of that. Let's see. Let's try to play a bit fast. My opponent will try to play knight h5 and f5 at some point, so I should probably prepare to counter that with d4. Also, getting back to eclectic question about the coffee shops. I myself live in Groningen, so I'm not that often in Amsterdam. So I'm not really sure. But if you happen to be in Groningen, there's a great chess pub. And directly next there's a coffee shop, so be sure to check that out if you're ever there. Maybe a5. Let's go d5 now. Push even more pawns. Yeah, so my opponent is getting for the typical kind of King's Indian counterplay. But he's without light squared bishop, so I'm not sure how much damage that will do. Okay, I have some interesting idea. I'll go g3. Someone asking if I think wheat can improve his creative chess. Well, definitely check it out. I have a few friends who most certainly do like marijuana or weed during chess tournaments, and they are quite creative players, so definitely try it out. I recommend it. Okay, I'm not really sure. Probably I'm not really much better here, but okay. So now I can take on g5. Well, he has bishop f6, and he's surviving somehow. But I can also take first. Okay, of course my opponent is playing super fast, so maybe I should do the same. Should I? I don't know. Okay, let's take. He might recapture by rook, then we'll go knight e3. Okay, now I wanted to take here. If he takes, I have this double attack on the rooks. Yeah, Groningen is in the north of the country. It's a great place. It's a place with many students living there, so it's good nightlife as well, and definitely recommend you to go there. Okay, I have to focus on this game also a little bit. I mean, maybe go here. Okay, let's play this. Yeah, it's a bit of a coward move, but alright, let's do it. Sometimes you have to play like a coward to win the game, I guess. Although Radio Jan might have different opinions. Okay, let's bring... I think I'm clearly better here, so that's good. All my pieces are looking very nice. And even though we exchange queens, his king is still in peril. Okay, let's see. G4 maybe, yeah? Or is that too bold? Okay, let's try G4. Not sure about this move. It's a bit risky because he gets this E4, E3 kind of idea. Okay, this makes me very happy, this move. Now he's losing material as well. Alright, looks like we're taking down a strong opponent here. Although it's not over till it's over. But things are looking up after this loss a few rounds ago. I'm slowly regaining back, regaining the lost rating points. Okay, I missed E4, which is a bit annoying. Okay, let's not say, like I said, it's not over till it's over. My father introduced me to chess when I was about 6 years old. Okay, I'm totally misplaying this again. Okay, this I'm happy to see. Yeah, it's not really, we can go give a check and go rook h4. Okay, this move I don't understand. And yes, I am a full-time chess player at the moment. But maybe one day I'll study, who knows. Depends a bit if my chess is gonna be better over the next few years. Still not, he's still fighting somehow. Very annoying. And meanwhile I'm losing time on the clock. I expected him to play bishop d4. Okay, let's play quickly. Still up on exchange. I think if Luki would be watching me, he would be disgusted by my technique, and rightfully so. But fortunately my opponent is sometimes cooperating a bit. And that's almost checkmate. Wow. Yeah, good game. EEC. That was tough. And still not at 3100. Okay, let's play Groekjer. Groekjer? How do you pronounce that? So this game would bring us back to the 3100 level. If we win it. But he is there. So I was talking a bit about the G6 Spanish before, so I wanted to try and play it, but my opponent doesn't give me a chance. Alright, it's 3-minute game, so I have to speed it up. Okay, maybe he can take here. No, I don't know the theory so well. But somehow this looks a bit familiar to me. Probably it's not good what I'm doing though. Yeah, my opponent wants to play f4, so I have to prevent that with this move. Grabbing some space on the queen side now. Maybe that will lead to something, maybe it won't. And preparing b4. Well, since it's a 3-minute game, I have to play a bit faster than usual. Maybe play h5. Usually it's not recommended to play on both wings at once, because then you could overstretch your position. So maybe what I'm doing here isn't so good, and I'm overstretching my position. But as for now, it still looks okay. Maybe here. It's very important not to fall behind on the clock. Could go for an endgame, but don't really like it. Yeah, the position is quite equal. Okay, let's see what he does. Oh my god, I just blundered the pawn e5. Yeah. Yeah, that's real bad. Now I'm back to what I usually do, which is fighting a very bad position. So I have to play fast. Okay, knight to f5 maybe. Obviously he's threatening on e6. Almost missed it. On c6 I meant. Let's take that. And go. Yeah, so we're like 3 pawns down, so it's really looking bad already. But I have a nice knight at least. So it's not hopeless yet, I would say. But my opponent is showing great technique, which is not making me happy. Yeah, I just have to sit and wait here, hoping my opponent won't find some constructive plan, but he seems to be finding one. Yeah, objectively the position is totally hopeless, but maybe I can pull off some kind of miraculous save here. Although I doubt it. Time situation looking bad as well. Yeah. I think this game is beyond saving now. Maybe go here. And here. And I don't even know anymore. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this was just a very bad game. Unfortunately. A good game to Group Junior or Group Jur. Thanks for the game. Seems like those 2400s are a bit too tough for me. I'll try to play some slightly lower rated. Maybe I can handle a 2200. I hope so. Now we're back to fighting a long way back to 3100. Let's play the dragon. Maybe that will bring us some luck. The dragon with d5. Let's hope my opponent doesn't know the theory so well and that we can, because I don't know it so well either, and that we can get away with it. King b1. This is not a, or okay, maybe I'm just not knowing things at all. Maybe it's a common move. What do? Somehow this looks like, it's his e5 move, right? With this queen sacrifice line. Is it this? Or is that? Yeah, I'm not sure about the theory here completely. Yeah, e5. Yeah, now there's some line where black sacrifices a queen, but he gets very decent compensation. Maybe we'll see that this game. But it looks like my opponent doesn't know the theory that well either, so that's good. I think the line goes something like knight takes d5, and then, okay, so he played that. So now I think I have to take here. And he will take back on e3 and I go bishop e6. And then he will have to go bishop c4, something like that it goes, but we'll see. Meanwhile, I heard somebody entered the office. So it might be Jan. Maybe he's cooking me some eggs, because we have a nice kitchen over here. That would be great. So Ruvinho plays decent moves, but he's taking a lot of time in playing them. So I'm not really entirely sure what's going on there. But somehow this line, or this position, looks familiar to me. Maybe rook e8. I've noticed that my 3-minute games tend not to go very well, so I think I should stick it to the 5-minute games. In 3 minutes somehow people seem to be quite fast. At least faster than me. Alright, I don't really see what my opponent is threatening, so I'll just develop my rook. Maybe there are some tricks. I mean, he can often place knight somewhere to threaten some discovery attacks, but for the moment his bishop is always hanging in most positions. So it's not really possible. But he does it. Yeah, this one is possible, but it's okay for him, but it's nothing special for white. I think black is totally fine. So let's try to play a funny move now, shall we? Who are my top 3 in chess power rankings? Is that right now at the moment or of all time? Do I read classical chess books? Yes, of course. That's a great way of learning and improving your chess understanding. So any kind of chess books, classical chess books will improve your understanding of chess. Yeah, thanks for the game, Ruvinho. Yeah, your last move was a blunder. Because you cannot take like this because it's mate. You cannot take here because it's also mate. And you cannot take my queen because that's also mate. I think better was probably to take here and then play something like c3. Alright, next one. Right now we're the top 3. Well, I think numbers 1 and 2 are pretty clear. That Carlsen is of course still number 1 in the world, and I think Fabi Caruana is also clear number 2. Number 3 is an interesting struggle going on for the world number 3 spot. I think Mamedyarov was there for some time, but he didn't fare too well in Wijk aan Zee, where he lost many points. And then we have Ding Liren, who's maybe right now number 3 in the world, I'm not sure. But basically for number 3 spot, it's quite close. Also my fellow countryman Anish Giri is reasonably close to the number 3 spot. I think maybe I would put Ding Liren on number 3 in the world because, or my top 3, because he's very solid, doesn't lose many games, and I'm very impressed by his play. Yes, the Banter Blitz with me isn't going very well. I've already lost 2 games. Wow, Mr. Dodgy is awake. Or, as I was told, Mr. Dodgy was streaming somewhere. Or was I being misled with that information? Please let me know, Mr. Dodgy. Oh, it looks like I accepted by accident another 3-minute challenge. I wanted to keep it a bit more peaceful, or I don't know, slower. But by accident I accepted a 3-minute challenge. But it seems to be working in my favor because my opponent is taking a lot of time to think. Yeah, that last move of his doesn't strike me as a very good move, giving me the bishop pair. And usually I like the bishop pair, so that makes me happy. Let's see, maybe knight e5. Fortunately, my opponent is not very fast, so I have good chances to win on the clock. Okay. Calls in Super Elite asking why Laurent doesn't win more. Maybe he's inspired by Anish Giri from 2 years ago. Mr. Dodgy can neither confirm or deny his streaming. It's definitely being secretive about it. I don't trust it. Wouldn't it be great to steal viewers from the Chess24 Banterthon? Alright, now we got a position where white is clearly better with the bishop pair. Okay, that's actually a good move by my opponent. But considering the clock situation, I think the position in objective means won't matter too much. If I could make one change to the rules of chess, what would it be? I would annihilate the draw offer. Okay, thank you for the game, Kiariokos. Sorry for mispronouncing your name. Okay, let's play Svalbard. What does that mean? That sounds somehow familiar to me, Svalbard. But maybe I'm being wrong. Oh wow, another Caro-Kann. Okay, let's play a slightly unorthodox variation here with knight g2 e2. Point is basically to capture this bishop here and be happy with the bishop pair. But unfortunately, as practice has showed, it's not that easy. Ah, of course, Svalbard is Spitsbergen. Yes, that's right. The island above Norway. Yeah, somehow forgot about that for a second. Alright, so I'll keep this bishop here. I can capture it at any moment when I like, so no reason to capture it immediately. We'll make a few small improving moves here. Maybe play h4. Maybe scare my opponent off with my h-pawn, Harry the h-pawn as Simon Williams calls it. Might scare him off. Okay, now I think it's time to capture the bishop. Someone is saying that the Grand Chess Tour abolished the draw offer. Somehow I doubt that. Didn't see that. That would be great, big news. Don't trust it. Think this is some fake news, I'm being told. And we do not like fake news. The discussion if Mr. Dodgy is still streaming is heating up. But people are saying it's fake news that he was streaming. A lot of fake news being spread in the Chess24 chat. In the meantime, I got this kind of Isolani pawn on d4. But my bishops are very happy. The position is open. He has some trouble with this to keep his knight. Wow, why didn't I take on f6? Yeah, I should have taken on f6. Terrible. Somehow I forgot that chess is not checkers. Yeah, so he's protecting his knight, but this gives me the opportunity to double my rooks, put him under even more pressure, make him even more nervous, and hope for make him blunder or something. Wow, knight d5. Yes, my opponent is definitely panicking here. That wasn't necessary. Rook a8 was better. So now my opponent gave me a pawn at least. Let's see what is the best way to continue from here. Maybe take back? I could also take on f7, it's an interesting question. Now let's take back. Ah, okay, so they did. So they did abolish the draw offer. Alright. Interesting. Although top players usually find a way to make a draw anyway by some kind of repetition, which is exactly what Perpetual Stalemate is pointing out right now in chat. But yeah, it's a good thing. I mean, it will make them play more. But yeah, if both players want to draw, strong players usually find a way to make that happen. Alright, so I'm up a clean pawn here. Things are looking up. Maybe g3. Maybe not even necessary. Okay, let's do it. But yeah, chess is a drawish game objectively, so it's no surprise that anyway many games will probably end in draws, even though they remove the draw offer. So my opponent here is a bit active. He could give this check, for example, but I think I'm holding on to my extra pawn for the moment, so that's good. I'm being asked if I will be seen at the Cannes tournament. I don't know. Tell me more about the Cannes tournament. Maybe I'll come. Cannes is a nice place, I think. Perpetual Stalemate with some funny jokes. Oh my god. Yeah, I blundered the pawn because I was a bit too distracted by chat. But it's all good. It's all good. So now I'm gonna pretend. Okay. I wanted to say that I want to make my opponent on the H file, but that's now impossible. Fortunately though, after blundering my pawn, I'm still better. Because I have this boss pawn here and my king is reasonably active. I don't know where to put my rook though, maybe here. Maybe here. Let's put it here. So the point is now to go king f4, king e5. And then c. This is a blunder, g5. Giving me an extra pawn once again in the game. Okay, maybe let's go here. The Cannes tournament starts in 177 hours. That's like how many days? 7 days? I cannot calculate, I cannot do math, but something like that. In 7 days I will be in Moscow, so I doubt that I will play. Yeah, unfortunately for my opponent this is a lost rook endgame. I will be playing the Aeroflot Open in Moscow. So that's where you will find me. Let's threaten a checkmate. That's checkmate. Alright, good game Svalbard. Yeah, I'm not too happy about having lost a couple of games there to a few stronger players, so I feel like I need to show that I can still play a bit of chess. So let's try to win a few games. It's gonna be another Sicilian, but this time it's gonna be a rouser. I think watching chess streams at 7 AM is much better than having a job. So I guess it's a good thing we cannot do math. How does this line go again? Probably have to take. No, I have to go here. Maybe I shouldn't have gone there. I think I should have. Okay, yeah, totally mixed up this line, I believe. I should play it. I don't know. Alright, let's do this. Maybe it's still some theory, I don't know. Wow, someone is watching from work. Excellent way to spend your day at work, I would say. Watching chess streams is much more important. Although watching me play is maybe not the best chess stream to watch, but yeah. Probably not many people streaming at 7 AM in the morning. Let's push some pawns. That worked well in last game, so maybe it will work once again. Many people say passed pawns are there to be pushed, but I like to change it usually to pawns are there to be pushed. So I just push them whenever I can. Yeah, blindfold banter would be interesting. Yeah, we did that yesterday, but unfortunately right now I don't have a partner, so don't think we will be able to manage that. But I think Jan is joining in about 1 hour, so maybe we'll do something with him. So both sides following the saying that pawns are there to be pushed. I think it's time to play for some tricks with with e5. Probably doesn't work, but it's for sure interesting. Single player hand and brains works. Yeah, I'm doing that all the time. Single player blindfold doesn't. Yeah, I wanted to try it, but it's gonna be hard to make the moves on the board. So now we got a very interesting position, but I think I'm slightly ahead on the field of moves attacking, so that's good. Wow, and he takes with the h-pawn. I wasn't expecting that. I could have given a check in between, but I don't think it was necessary. Or so. Although I missed his idea of possibly running to the queen side with king d8, king c7. So maybe I should have given the check in between. Let's see, what can we do? Maybe bishop h3 is good, maybe not. Okay, let's try bishop h. Okay, let's do it. Do GMs play about 50 points lower blindfold? That's a good question. I don't know how much rating I'm performing less at when I'm playing blindfold. I rarely play blindfold, so it's very hard to say. I was trying it the other day at online chess a little bit by removing all the pieces. So maybe this actually makes me get an idea that maybe I can change the pieces to see only blanks, but that wouldn't be great for the viewers. So anyway, I was trying that and I was doing quite reasonably, so I don't know. Yeah, so I miscalculated here. I can simply take the piece, I think. Okay, maybe, yeah, it wasn't so clear, but I think he could have taken my piece and he could have gotten away with it. Okay, many interesting lines now. F5 looks interesting. But so much to calculate. I don't like it. I don't like calculation. Yeah, I won't do the blindfold check here because then you guys cannot see the board. We don't want that. Alright. Now I wanted to give this check. I don't think I have anything better. Yeah, the position is totally unclear. I have no idea what's going on. Yeah, we'll have to ask the Chess24 tech guys if we can make some blindfold single player streams happen, but anyway, I think my chess already here is... My chess level here without blindfold chess is already quite low, so it's not necessary to make my level drop even further. Okay, this move I did not expect. Maybe give a check. Looks extremely risky, but I don't know. Yeah, now I think I'm getting somewhere. Although it's still not over. So the point is he has to move his king to the h file now. And then I have this move, rook h1 check. But he can block still with his queen. And he can continue the fight. So I'm not sure if that's the best way to proceed with things. Maybe it's better to simply capture his bishop and keep the attack going. Yeah, no. Okay, let's do it. I have not much time anyway on the clock, so I have to move. Alright, now I give this check. And if he goes to h6, I play rook takes f6. If he goes to h8, I go rook h1. And he loses the queen, so he resigns instead. Yeah, that was an interesting game. Draw Knife of Death. I think your mistake was here when you did not play king e7. After I take with the queen. I did have Jan as a coach in Batumi. He didn't teach me any of his flagging skills yet. Maybe that was because we weren't playing so much online chess. and on over the board chess the flagging doesn't have as much effect. But I think Jan will join soon in about 45 minutes, so maybe he'll teach me some then. Okay, yeah, good game, draw a knife of that. I think you were better there at some point. I should maybe change up my openings sometime because I'm playing 1e4 all the time. Well, my idea with this Banterthon is, besides communicating with the chat and improving the rating, is trying to play some different openings. But maybe Zlatan isn't there. Is that some kind of reference to Zlatan Ibrahimovic? Like, I don't know exactly what, but could be. Anyway, Zlatan doesn't seem to be there, so I'll have to abort this game and move on to the next one. Torque Madita. Play the Grob. That's e4 king e2, right? Now I'll leave that for the third day. Let's play one d4 and c4. See what I can do here. Bishop d6. Wow. I think this opening is working out great for me. Could have been that my opponent mouse slipped and that he wanted to play bishop e7. In that case, it's kind of unfortunate. In case this was all his plan, I'll happily take the pawn. Okay, maybe. Why not e4? Let's go. Bishop d6 is a novelty, says Perpetual Stalemate. Yes, I guess it is. Probably not a very good novelty though. But playing a novelty on move 3 is nowadays quite impressive. King's Gambit I could play one game. I played the King's Gambit once in a serious tournament game. I lost that game eventually, but I was doing well in that game. So let's see, maybe Queen b1 or something. Let's try that. And now I'll take another pawn. And one more. Because we like pawns here over at chess24. King's Gambit, if it's reviewed it, well, I'll have to ask Radio Jan about that. I think he plays it more often than me, so he's probably into the subtleties of the opening. According to him, I believe King's Gambit is a great opening. Yes, give me a. My opponent is giving me very much free material here, which I'm very happy to take. 3 pawns and an exchange so far. Okay, let's put my rooks in the center, shall we? Yeah, Kramnik is way ahead of his time. He refuted 1e4 with his rook g8 move in the candidates against Laurent. Although maybe Aronian's dealing of the opening also had a little bit to do with that. But yeah, I would give most credit to Kramnik. So this is little something we call a pin. Wow, my opponent has a great defensive resource. I thought I was winning a piece, but I cannot capture the knight right now because my rook is hanging. Did Anish ask you to go for the draw against Carlsen? Yes, he gave me very clear instructions of how to play the game, how to approach it, which opening to play. But I didn't follow any of them, which resulted in a loss. And it didn't make him very happy. Neither did it make me very happy. So maybe next time I'll have to listen more to Anish's advice. Alright, let's push some more pawns. After that game against Oronian in the candidate, Kramnik's performance in the other tournaments he played and the games ever since wasn't great. I tried saving his career in round 11 of the Tadis chess tournament by losing against him, but unfortunately it didn't change his final decision. I think we have to blame it maybe on Sam Shankland, who lost his final, who won against Kramnik in the final game of the tournament. So things are looking pretty good for me in this game, I would say. Up a lot of material, the king is safer, my pieces are better. Yeah, no queen exchange for you, Mr. Torque Madita. No, I've never played against Kasparov. I don't think he wants to play patchers like me, unfortunately. But who knows, maybe we'll see him around on the Banterthon playing against one of us. Let's play Mr. Spielkind. I played e4 by accident again. I should have played a different opening. Someone wanted me to play the Grob, which is king. Oh no, that's the Bomb Cloud. What's the Grob again? Please inform me, chat. I forgot. Let's play something normal though. Oh, my opponent is playing something a little bit offbeat here. And with f5. This I don't buy at all. This might be a very fast win for us. I think. Yeah, this line, it is actually a line, but I think it's very bad for black. Must be very bad for black. Taking here is tempting. So, okay, let's think here for a little bit how to approach this position. I'm sure there are many good moves here. But in a blitz game, unfortunately, it's not so easy to refute what my opponent is doing. I don't see it. Maybe play bishop g5, knight f6. And then what? Could also take the knight, but then king takes g8, and don't really see how to continue from there. Okay, let's take the knight. Ah, 1g4 is the Grob, of course. Yeah, 1g4 I could play. That's not such a bad opening. Okay, so probably I didn't really refute my opponent's line, but At least I think I still have a good position here. Although I'm not really sure how to proceed. He play h4. Let's try h4. Yeah, I'm very slow this game. My opponent caught me off guard with his opening play. Okay, let's call some maybe. Looks good. Yeah, this move doesn't make a lot of sense by me. But I have to play a bit faster because I noticed I'm way down on the clock. Yeah, this is maybe a good line for Blitz, because I'm sure it totally doesn't make any sense for black. This what my opponent did here, but in Blitz it's not easy to refute if you don't know exactly what to do. So right now, I think the position is totally unclear. Maybe develop somehow there. Yeah, I'm way down on the clock here, so I need to pay some attention to the game and make sure I don't lose to another player. That will be kind of embarrassing. Okay, I'm happy to see that move. That was a strong bishop of his and not a very good knight of mine. So I'm down in exchange here, but my king is much safer than his. And my pieces are much better than his. So I think I must, especially after his last move, I'm much better again. So let's see. Maybe queen b7 check or f5. Maybe try f5, yes. Open up the position even further. While his rooks and king, especially his king, is very unsafe and his rooks aren't really playing. So maybe he has king g7 here still, yeah? That's kind of a little bit annoying. Okay, let's give this check maybe. Ah, bishop f6, king h7. Totally forgot about that. Okay. Yeah, I should play against my own account. I don't play that often on Chess24, but I think I have like a rating of like 3000 here. So I have some people who know my credentials to my account, so I should ask them to log into my account and make sure we get this Banterthon rating up. Okay, so position is still good for me, but like I said, I'm way down on the clock, so I have to really speed it up here, big time. Yeah, the problem for his position is that my queen is much stronger than his two rooks at the moment. At least I think so. Maybe I'm wrong. Should maybe try to bring my king to b5. Activate my king. Okay, let's give some checks, gain some time. Typical flagging strategy. And now bring in the king. But he's very solid here. Maybe it's just a draw. He has like a fortress, so. Okay, yeah, this will be kind of a nasty game because I will try to do something, but I will probably not really manage. Okay, let's bring in my king. Okay, wait. So bring my king to this pawn right here now, but I'm very low on time. So this might go wrong for me. Maybe I should just make that draw, even though it's quite painful. Sorry for being a bit silent here, guys. This is definitely not my best game. Alright, yeah, that was a draw in the end. Yeah, it was a tough game. I'm sure I was winning somewhere, but managed to give it away, and here my opponent just has a fortress over the sixth rank. So good game there, Spielkind. Maybe even very kind of you to give me the draw there in the end, because I was running quite low on time. I do have a Twitch account, I don't really use it. I only use it maybe to sometimes follow other streamers. So I notice I'm losing back all rating, which Laurent had won. So maybe he's our best player. Let's see if we still have some Kinder chocolate over here. Yes, we do. That's all we eat here over at the Chess 74 office. We eat Kinder chocolate. Thanks for the game again, Spielkind. Mark Taylor didn't seem to be there, so let's play someone different. But maybe Mr. Ankur Specie is also not there. Doesn't look like it. Ah, he is. Yeah, I think Laurent will be quite mad at me when he comes back and he sees I lost all the rating. So let's play my G6 Spanish finally. So I like this setup because it basically resembles a bit a King's Indian. But the point in King's Indian is that white players know how to deal with it, while on this line people usually don't really have a clue. So I get many times a good position real quickly. Probably G5 is not a good move, but I thought, why not? Let's play F5. Okay, let's do it. Must be bad, but Looks nice. Looks funny. And castle now. King h8 maybe. Planning planning my King's Indian attack. So basically what I want to do here is play h5 at some point and then g4. But I cannot play h5 yet because my pawn on g5 will be hanging, so I need to defend that first. So I'll bring my knight to f7. Oh wow, that's very kind of my opponent. Very nice player. Thank you. It's always good when your opponents are being kind to you. Those are the best. Yeah, in chess, it's very easy to make a bit of a racist comment. I have to be more careful with that. So in the future I will change my comments from white players know how to deal with it to something like chess players know how to deal with it. Maybe that's better. Alright, so the white position here is pretty much terrible. So usually in a King's Indian, when black has his pawns over here, black doesn't have any more material left on the queen side. Well, in this game I still have all my pieces left on the queen side while I'm winning on the king side. So let's see. I have many good moves here. Could take the pawn on h4. Could play queen d8 maybe. Could also play knight h6. Let's play knight h6. And now queen d8. So maybe my opponent is playing a game called please leave all of your pieces on the first rank. If that's what he's doing a great job. But other than that, he's not really having a great position. Because soon his knight will be forced to go, just as I wanted to say that his knight had to go back as well, he did it. But that's not really a great sign for his position. I think it's time to open it up here. Point is he has to take with the g-pawn because he cannot take with the queen because his rook will be hanging by my queen here, like that. And if he takes with the g-pawn, he resigns, yeah. If he would have taken with the g-pawn, I would probably have played something like rook g8. And at some point the rook will have devastating effect on the g-file. Alright, thanks for the game, Mr. Ankur Specie. Sorry for mispronouncing. I think volatility, or did I already play volatility? I don't remember. Did I play him? I think I did. Yeah, I think I played already Mr. Volatility. I have to abort this one. Sorry for that. I tried to play as many new opponents as possible. Pretty sure I didn't play Al Nook yet from United Arab Emirates. I also brought some Ritter Sport chocolate, but it's apparently only allowed in the Chess24 to eat the Kinder chocolate, so not much choice there. This bishop d3 line is in the Wiener is a line I played mostly as a kid. So but I still play it now and then because, well, I'm still a kid. Yeah, thank you for the tip, Perpetual Stalemate. I just noticed that my game that I haven't played any games against Elnook by doing exactly the thing you advised me to do. What I'm doing here is absolutely incorrect, but I'll find a way, hopefully, to make it work. I should have given a check probably first. But I've been reading up a bit on the games in the 1800s recently. And I saw that many people back then were sacrificing lots of material to checkmate the opponent's king. So I will not sacrifice a lot of material, but I will sacrifice one pawn, castle long, after bishop d2, and pretend like I have an attack. He doesn't take my pawn, but instead offers the queen exchange, which makes me think I'm not playing someone who's from the United Arab Emirates, but more someone who's from a solid chess country like Germany, where people love to play without queens. Actually, it's a good move, so nothing wrong by my opponent there, because this pawn is hanging in the end and I will not mate him. Okay, fortunately he didn't see that my pawn was hanging. This gives me time to, I don't know, protect it maybe? Yeah, 1800, yeah. 215 years ago, before I was born, sounds about right. So I'm 8 years old now, so I was born in 2007? Yes. So it was 207 years before I was born. Yeah, but time flies. Yeah, it's an interesting position here. I'm not really sure who's better, but I think I'll find a way. Let's take one more of those Kinder chocolates. It's what I've been eating all day here since I arrived in Hamburg. But I must say they're pretty good. Yeah, also, the viewers don't know it, but actually we're being sponsored by Kinder Chocolate. I'm a bit surprised my opponent didn't take my bishop on c3. Letting me keep my bishop is kind of nice of him. And letting me trap his knight voluntarily is even more nice. In this position he's still at the e7 square for his knight, while with his last move he deprives himself of that square and allows me to trap his knight. So my opponent starts thinking now, Yeah, he resigns. Alright, good game there, Alnouk. I think if you would have taken, for example, here, no, not here, you would have taken my bishop here or on the next move, you would have been perfectly fine. Here. Alright, next. We need to win. Wow, a 2700 challenge again. Let's see if I can do it. Alright. Let's play the Slav. This is a line which Peter Sweetler essayed at Candidates in 2016, I believe, and he had very good results with it. So I think it's only fair to follow in his footsteps while I'm here at Chess 24. Let's take. Let's castle. Let's go knight b4. This is basically all theory, so nothing much to talk about. The new main line, I think it's bishop g5 instead of knight e5, but it's also perfectly okay. From what I've learned from my last few games, that I tend to get into time trouble all the time, so I'm gonna have to play a little faster. Van Dorpsten is saying about the last game that if there were some e3 ideas, yes, there for sure were, but I didn't see how they would be working for my opponent. Oh yeah, he sacrificed on f7. I'm not. It's a common theme in this line, but usually it's not so good. But it's always a bit scary, and in Blitz anything can work. So it's a good try. Now I have to find a way on how to deal with this. Knight bd5 maybe. Hard to say. Maybe not. Maybe yes. Okay, let's try this move. Expecting cricket talk next, says Perpetual Stillmate. Wow. Just any sport I really don't know anything about is cricket, but I can look into it, maybe. I've seen once a funny video of Sweetler playing cricket. I think it was in Gibraltar 2008 or something when that video was recorded. It was kind of funny. Anyway, I have to focus on the game here. If I take with the bishop, he has queen c4, which worries me. And maybe I have to take with the pawn. And he also has queen c4, doesn't do anything about it. I can take on f6, queen c4, knight takes e3, bishop takes f7, king f8, b takes e3, bishop e8 maybe. And I think I get away with it. Okay, I need to calculate this game. But I think I'm fine. And if I'm fine in this position, I'm probably better. So you can take king f8, b takes c3, and then have bishop e8. This is where we attack on his queen. And taking the bishop next, I would think. Ah! Wow, this move I didn't see. Is it good though? So I have rook c7 at least. Looks like a good move to me. Or king f8. Hard to say, hard choice. I don't know. So let's play this move. I have to play fast. Alright, bishop d7 I would think. Rook b1 he plays. Maybe b6 or b5. Let's play b6. I think I'm better here, but of course in a blitz game it's hard to play. So he has queen c7 and I'll play b5. And I think if I get to untangle here, like king g7, my bishops are very nice. So maybe Sweetler's line is working out for me. Okay, this is not a bit of a strange move. But I see my opponent is already speeding up, knowing how slow I am. Now I need to find a way to make progress. And I don't know. Maybe offer the exchange of queens. At least my opponent is thinking about it. I like it when my opponent is thinking. So let's say queen takes here, I take with the bishop, his pawn. Okay, he goes here. Can I not take there? Or am I missing? I can take, of course, on c8 and then rook c... I think I can get away with it. Rook c1, I have b4. So you think I can take, and if he takes here, you would think that rook c1 is a pin on my bishops, but I have b4 protecting my bishop. Okay, yeah, this is just a blunder, I think. Alright, good game there, G. Whalen. It was a complicated game.